Hello kind people of YouTube and welcome back to another video. As always, let's just take a look at the crypto news together, shall we? And first up, it is some Nasdaq related stuff. They are now adding Bitcoin and Ethereum to their global data service, which of course is a big move because that is a service that a lot of mainstream investors are using. Stock exchange operator Nasdaq is adding indices for Bitcoin and Ethereum to its global data service later this month. The company announced on Monday that it has partnered with New Zealand-based blockchain data and research firm Brave New Coin to offer information on the two new indices starting February 25th. The Bitcoin Liquid Index and the Ethereum Liquid Index will offer real-time information on the Nasdaq Global Index Data Service SM, its consolidated data feed, Nasdaq said. Specifically, the BLX and ELX indices will offer a real-time spot or reference rate for the price of one Bitcoin and one Ethereum respectively, quoted in US dollars and based on the most liquid ends of their markets. The data will be refreshed at a frequency of 30 seconds. Nasdaq said both the indices are calculated using a methodology that has been independently audited against the International Organization of Securities Commission's principles. And that is really all we need to know here. This is of course a big step towards making crypto more visible to everyday investors in their everyday life, as well as to big money. Now of course we know big money has been on crypto for a while, but seeing this is just more proof of that happening, more proof of that increased interest. Because this is clearly the Nasdaq responding to consumer demand. And those consumers are billionaire and millionaire investors, are hedge funds, are big financial companies who are using their services. They will soon also get daily, not even daily, up to 30 seconds accurate information on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Next up, this isn't quite news as much as just a collection of statements from an event. A bunch of people have talked about just how good Ripple's technologies are, and let's take a quick look. Ripple's partners have been satisfied with the unique remittance solution offerings via xRapid with XRP at its core and xCurrent provided by the platform facilitating mainstream adoption. Different industries have dipped their toes into the crypto space for its payment facilities for a large volume of transactions. Well, that sentence kind of meant nothing. Ripple has announced that RippleNet, in a matter of 3 years, has signed over 200 clients, including many leading commercial banks in India, Korea, Japan, and around 9 Middle Eastern banks. Besides, Ripple has also managed to expand its foothold to major remittance corridors, with the latest being the US to Mexico and the Philippines. Eva Kiley, European Parliament Chair Future of Science Technology, citing the edge that blockchain has in terms of cross-border money flows as opposed to the traditional financial institutions, stated, "By its nature, it doesn't recognize borders. It's unstoppable. We want to use it to connect Europe, remove barriers, and give people the understanding that it can be used for good." This, of course, was said about blockchain in general, not Ripple in particular. The recent London Ripple Regional Conference witnessed the participation of many prominent figures from the industry. Alistair Constance, the CEO of Mercury FX, has remarked that xRapid is the future. An xRapid user platform, Mercury FX, has successfully executed a transaction involving a huge amount of capital of around $4.5 million from the UK to Mexico earlier in January this year. This is a significant example of the mainstream deployment of crypto. Speaking with Ripple SVP Customer Success, Constance stated, "Ripple provides the opportunity for us to say we have opened up the market and we can come here and trade freely at the optimized speeds and costs." Which I'm just very glad we're hearing these kinds of statements because there were a bunch of companies that were trialing xRapid, that were trialing RippleNet. And we don't really know how well any of that is working out until we get some statements a couple months or a couple years down the line from them, claiming that they are still interested, that they are still actively using these technologies, that they are happy with them. So it's so incredibly good to hear from the CEO of Mercury FX, which is one of the first xRapid partners, that they are happy with it, that they are using it, that it is the future. And that is really all I wanted to talk about here. This is very meaningful because it's one thing to sign up a bunch of companies to try something, to trial a technology solution. It is another for them to use it to move millions of dollars and then to come to their conference and talk about how great it is. That is meaningful. That means that Ripple is keeping all their promises about what their technologies can do, what xRapid can do, what XRP can do. That means it is actually the solution that banks have been waiting for, and that makes me very hopeful for the future of the crypto markets and XRP in particular. Next up, we have yet another new exchange launching, and it is yet another one in the Arab world, this time in the United Arab Emirates, where of course a lot of money is flowing. Just look at this picture, look at all the money in this picture. Almost all these towers have active development happening on it. News reaching Ethereum World News indicate that the South Korean crypto exchange of Bitfarm is planning to expand its operations to the Middle East. According to CoinDesk Korea, the firm announced that it had signed a memorandum of understanding with the UAE-based company of Nuvlub, that is the worst possible name a company could ever have, to spearhead a joint venture in the country in the form of a fiat-to-crypto exchange. A spokesperson of Bitfarm told Financial Times that the new exchange will diversify Bitfarm's business overseas. And they desperately need an editor like this spokesperson. Come on, guys. The partnership with Envelope will... Envelope? Wasn't it called something else? Is it Envelope or is it Envelope? Like, okay. The partnership with Envelope will enable us to build a foothold in the Middle East as a global exchange. This year we will diversify into a business centered on overseas business. Through the new venture, Bitfarm plans to expand its reach to countries in the Middle East and North Africa region. The country has been a beehive of activities as many crypto and blockchain ventures have set up shop in the area. One other example is Huobi, that is in the process of expanding to the same region. And we don't really need the rest of this article. This is meaningful because this is such an important market. It's not even an emerging market anymore at this point. Like the United Arab Emirates are where some of the richest people on the planet live, where some of the biggest spenders on the planet live, where a lot of people are interested in, at times, high-risk investments, because they have the kind of money to play with. And there is a thirst for crypto there. And this being a fiat-to-crypto exchange is doubly meaningful here, because that means this is not an exchange for people to move their crypto back and forth into different coins. This is an exchange that will be actively pumping money into the crypto space. This will be people buying crypto. And that is just very, very good for the future of crypto. And just the fact that all of these new exchanges are opening up should show you just how much demand there is. And all that demand will at some point be reflected in the crypto market and in the crypto prices. It is only a matter of time. Next up, let's briefly talk Beam, because they are considering, or rather announcing, that they are going to integrate Lightning on top of their Mimblewimble-based cryptocurrency blockchain. Privacy coin Beam has announced that it plans to introduce a Mimblewimble-compatible Lightning network, according to a paper published by Beam on February 12th. Beam's main goal for implementing the Lightning Network, which would allow for a second-layer scaling solution for quick transfers on value off-chain, is to enhance the altcoin in commercial settings where payments would require quick confirmation. While Beam's paper states that their transaction capacity is 3 times faster than that of Bitcoin's, the paper notes that it is not at the same level as other major payment processors. This is very, very important because the best that Bitcoin can possibly do, to my knowledge, is about 7 transactions per second. Which, when you just hear that number, that doesn't sound all that bad. Until you realize, if anything wants to find mainstream adoption, it needs to be able to do thousands of transactions every single second. That is why there's a lot of development happening on second and third layer solutions for Bitcoin that can circumvent the core blockchain and do much more scalable transactions on top of it. Now, Beam is significantly faster than Bitcoin, but it is still very, very slow in the larger scheme. Just imagine, in a world where everyone uses crypto, how many transactions you would need every single second. Go to your local supermarket, and even there you will probably have a transaction happening every couple seconds. Now, take that and multiply it by the rest of the planet. There are hundreds of thousands of transactions happening every minute. There are probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of transactions happening every second. So cryptocurrencies, to have any chance of mainstream adoption, need to at least be in the realm of thousands. And that is where solutions like Lightning come in. There's no set timeline announced for when Beam plans to implement the Lightning Network into their platform, according to the paper. However, on February 7th, Beam published a blog post on Medium stating that top altcoin Litecoin had approached Beam for possible cooperation to implement Mimblewimble through extension blocks. If you remember, we talked about this the other day on the channel. On February 11th, Twitter and Square CEO Jack Dorsey spoke about the possibility of rolling out a Lightning Network for Square's Bitcoin payment platform. As Cointelegraph reported, there was no date given for implementation, but Dorsey made remarks saying it was a matter of when, not if. So essentially just pointing out here that the Lightning Network is finding more and more adoption, and it will be a reality in the future, in the near future, that anything happening on one of the older cryptocurrency protocols, one of the slower, less scalable ones like Bitcoin and Litecoin, they will need the Lightning Network to survive. There is no way around either the Lightning Network or something equivalent, because their core blockchains are just hopelessly outmatched against more modern ones that are more scalable, that have higher speeds, that are more efficient. So this was only a matter of time until Beam also announced Lightning Network integration, or at least considering something similar. So yeah, this is set to happen. So anyone who was worried about the scalability of Beam, this should make it a lot more appealing for the long term and for potential mainstream adoption. And last but not least, I always like when these products go to market, so I want to talk about this briefly. Status launches a tap-to-pay crypto hardware wallet. Status, the Ethereum messaging app and mobile browser startup, has relaunched their cryptocurrency hardware wallet under a new name, the Keycard. Developed entirely open source, that is awesome. The wallet will first be distributed to interested blockchain developers for free and later sold directly from Status's website at $29 a piece. Not an incredibly high price. The hardware, as highlighted by Status project lead Guy Louis Grau, that's like 3 different languages in the same name, is the exact same shape as a Visa card you have in your wallet today. Speaking to CoinDesk, Grau added, Keycard is contactless, it's going to work with your mobile crypto wallet, you just need to tap your keycard on a mobile device to sign transactions. Functionally speaking, it's really a hardware wallet, but it works with mobile. According to the firm, the Status Keycard is compatible with several cryptocurrencies including Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, XRP, Ether, and all Ethereum-based ERC20 tokens. So this is just, I really like these products, and I think that is what we are going to need for mainstream adoption. But unfortunately, this is only one side of the issue. Ultimately, if we want to see crypto at point of purchase, we will need both these cards and similar cards being available to a mass number of people and being mainstreamed. And we will also need stores to accept these. And unfortunately right now I'm seeing a lot of development on producing these cards, making them available, but very little on getting large companies on board to start accepting them. And there's very little reason to have these if you can't pay with them anywhere. So we're going to need a lot of stores to get on board. I'm hopeful that these companies that are producing cards like this will use some of their profits to get in talks with large retailers, with large supermarket chains, with all those companies that might be able to accept these, to get them actually usable. Because it's great to have these, but we also need them to be compatible in a way that you can walk into the supermarket or walk into the Starbucks around the corner and pay for your groceries, pay for your morning coffee with these. Because it's one thing just to have these available for the consumer, it's another to have them usable. So very, very good that we're getting more of these, that there's a lot of projects like this going on. Over time, 1 or 2 will probably emerge as the ones that everyone is using. And by that point, hopefully, they will have had massive outreach campaigns to retailers, to supermarket chains, to restaurant chains, to actually start accepting these in stores. Because there's a small number of core crypto people who are going to get these just because they love the idea. But for any larger number of people to get into these, they need to be accepted by stores. So hopefully, we will get to that point. And with that, I'm going to end today's video. Sorry, it was pretty short, but, we got all the important stuff in. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you want to read any of these articles yourselves, the links will be in the description. If you want to follow me on social media, links in the description. If you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon and donation addresses in the description. Any support is greatly appreciated. And I will be back with another video for you guys very soon. Thanks for watching.